Hey y'all, and welcome back to another episode of City Sim Builds. We're back here in Two Rivers County, and I am so pleased to be back here because it is actually working. I was nervous when I recorded the last episode if this would reload, I guess, and it did, so I'm really pleased with that. So our fishing industry is looking really good here. I'm really happy with how these jetties came out. I think it looks pretty realistic from my point of view. Like I've seen like a jetty like this where you have like an opening and then you have this like secondary protective jetty. And then I think this makes sense here to like provide a little bit more like shelter for the boats and everything. But yeah, and when you zoom down here, the commercial area is looking really nice. We have the fish market right here, and we have the restaurant, and we have some different commercial activities happening along here. And I like these like really intense grade roads with parking. I think that looks pretty cool. It kind of reminds me of like San Francisco a little bit. And then up here, we're having a lot of really good housing development and commercial development as well. But yeah, as you can see, this is a bustling place with a lot of truck traffic and growth that is happening. And I definitely want to come back here in the future and add a little bit more. Like I want to add a park in right here and extend some development down this way, maybe a little bit more residential and commercial. And then along the shore here, well, I'm thinking along the shores on both sides, I'm going to do parks along here. So yeah, I think things are looking pretty good. So for today's episode, I want to build a solar farm, and I'm thinking of doing that over here, somewhere in this area. And the reason for that is because if you go into like Play It and you take a look at the sun, let's take a look at the sun. Let's just stare at the sun. So if you take a look at the sun and how it tracks across the sky, here in the morning, over here is the east. Then over here, we have the west, which is kind of like heading over towards the island. That's pretty cool, the sunset like that. So midday, let's get that roughly in place. That's here. And then if we come down and take a look at the shadows on the trees, we can see at approximately noon, or 11:59, we're really close. We have this like north-south line that's kind of going this way. We can zoom in and take a look at the trees here. You can see the shadows here. So let's cut on our contours and see if we can find a spot that's good with our terrain. I want to find something that's perpendicular to this north-south line, and actually looking at it, I think this might be a good spot right here. So for this, I picked up a few different assets in the Steam Workshop. I got these solar panels here. I really like these 5x8 ones. They can produce anywhere from 11 to 16 megawatts, which is pretty cool. And we have a few smaller ones as well. And I tested these out, and when you place them, they terraform, which I actually like for this situation because we're gonna need it. Because as you can see, and what is the theme of this map, we have a lot of hills. So what I'm thinking is like placing a line kind of like through here, then having another line and then another line. So be terraced in some fashion. I have these over here as well. These are like pretty similar, I guess. And then these are kind of like more like, I feel like if you want to place on top of a rooftop or something like that. And I don't really like the way they look. They just are kind of, I don't know, boring to me. And then I have these down here, and these are like much smaller. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna go with the ones over here predominantly. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and try and place in one of these panels. And I'm gonna try and line this up as close as I can to the north-south configuration. And I think that's pretty good there, because it looks like this orientation is pretty perpendicular to the terrain that we have. And then I think our north-south is like a little bit off, but it's not that bad. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and place one of these and just see how it looks. Maybe I'll come down here where we have this contour line, and that will be the bottom of our solar farm. So let's put one there and see how it looks. Yeah, so we have some terraforming there, but I think that'll be fine. All right, I'm gonna place a row of these, and then we'll come back and align them and see how it looks. Sweet, I think that looks really good. Nice. Yeah, and so our north-south direction is a little, I don't know, I guess it's pretty close. I mean, you could see this tree here. That's a good indicator. Looks like we're facing a little bit more in an easterly direction, but I think that'll be fine. So the next thing I want to do is add in a gravel road. I was taking a look at some of the solar farms near me in like more, I guess, like rural areas, and they don't really have that much infrastructure there. There tends to be like a couple like gravel roads and then like some fencing, and that tends to be about it. So I'm gonna place a road that starts over here in this general area and then follows the contour lines over here. And then we'll have a couple roads that go back here. But I think for the most part, we're probably gonna have like maybe 2 rows of panels and then like a road, something like that. And actually, what I might do first is go ahead and place the second row of panels and get that in place. And I wonder if I can go in to move it and align all of these up at one time. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, no. No, that's not good. All right, so let's just do them one row at a time. I knew that move it would line them up in a line like this. I didn't know if it would create like basically an even rectangular pattern like how I'm wanting it to be. But I think that's pretty good. If we come in and take a look at the area here, let's turn off the terrain for a second. That terracing there is not that bad. I think that's pretty good actually. So now let's get in a gravel road. All right, so let's go ahead and place a gravel road somewhere along in here. I think about like that. That looks good. And then we're going to come in with our curved road tool and get something that follows the terrain pretty closely. And then maybe we'll do something like this. And then over here, what we can do is probably use our freeform road tool to get something that slowly starts to make its way up the hill. Then curves around about like that, roughly at a 90-degree angle. 89.6, that's pretty good. And then we'll use our sloping tool and then slope it to about there. 0.7, that's really good. I like that. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to place in the second row of panels here. And we are almost out of money because these are $32,000 each. So I'm wondering if we can get in one more row, but first I'm going to go in to move it and align these all up. Sweet, that looks really good. Yeah, I'm digging this. I like that. So our electrical production now is kind of like through the roof. So what I might do is run like say a transformer power line to connect it over, I don't know, maybe down this way. And then from there, what we can do is scale back the electrical budget. So what I'm gonna do is place a transformer line that kind of follows this road and then meanders its way all the way over here to say about here at Summit Peak. All right, I think that looks pretty good. And I bypassed these areas because I wanted to have it connect up at least to a town. I think what would make sense here is to have some sort of like transformer junction, which I thought I had, but apparently I don't. So, but I think that's gonna work out just fine. All right, so now that we have this connected up, let's go to our budget panel and scale things back with our electrical budget. And now we're turning a profit and well, yeah, we're kind of bouncing around all over the place, but I think for now that will be good. So I'm gonna go in and try and place another row as money allows. And I think we've reached our maximum. So I think in order to get maybe a little bit more residential in here and a little bit more tax revenue, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this area and place a little bit more residential through here. And we are running into a deficit. I'm going to slow things down a little bit. So right now, healthcare is a pretty intense expense for us. And so is our fire. And I'm hesitant to bring this down a little bit, but I'm going to do that just for the sake of this episode, I think. And same thing with education. And I think I'm gonna have to take out some houses and a few businesses here. Unfortunately, not what I wanted to do, but I kind of had a feeling I was gonna have to do this at some point, just based off of how I planned this out originally, but these things happen. Since I'm going ahead and doing this, I'm gonna extend this through here like that, and then same thing here. And for this, I might actually just continue this on straight, just to have it be kind of at a different angle. Then I wonder if we can thread something through right here. Nope, can't. All right, well, I tried. I definitely tried. All right, so everybody's unhappy about that, but we'll see if we can just line something up like that. And then what is going on here? We have some weird node issue. Let's go ahead and remove one of these nodes. Maybe that one. Yeah. Looks way better. Way better. And then we'll get this as close to a 90 as we can. 89.9. That's pretty close. All right, so we're turning a little bit of a profit now, which I like. So let's go ahead and zone through here real quick and then see if we can get some extra growth. And so what I'm doing is trying to rezone through here, which is, that's something that actually happens, maybe not on this scale, but that definitely happens in real life where some of these residential uses are being converted into a commercial use. I wish the game could allow for this to be a little bit more elegant, like you could just go in and rezone, and then things just kind of upgrade and change instead of having to clear out the zoning and then rezone back what you want. I want to get a little bit more street network through here. So I want to get something that kind of connects up this way. Okay, perfect. And then over here might have a couple like corner shops, something like that. And then let's get some water piping in place. All right, and then let's see how this area grows. Before I do that, we missed this one little area here, so I'm going to put that in. All right, and then let's see how this area grows. Okay, so not much, actually. And we have a fire. We always have a fire, so... But it seems that we're doing okay in terms of our budget now. So I'm going to cut back on a few other city services that are costing us a lot of money right now, just for the time being, just so that I can get things kind of in order with our budget. All right, so I have a lot of things roughly around the 75-ish% marker, and I think things now are better. We'll see how this affects our city and our land values and how many fires develop and all that good stuff. But now, since we have the budget in place, I really want to complete this row over here. So as we get more money, I'm going to add in the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels. All right, and I didn't really want to do this, but I think I'm going to do it for the sake of this episode. I'm going to take out this pyramid capital loan. In the next episode, what I'm going to try and do is focus on the budget and trying to increase our industry production and maybe even create a new industry somewhere. That way I can increase some of these city services because this is starting to have an effect on our land values and everything. So I'd like to get a little bit more industry in place so that way we can hopefully turn a little bit more of a profit here. We're going to take that loan and I'm going to keep the game paused for a moment just so I can get these in place. That's looking good. Then now I'm going to go through and select all these and then line them up. Perfect. Nice. I think that looks pretty good. I'm really pleased with that. And while we have the money, I'm going to go ahead and add in a couple factories maybe. Let's see, I could definitely add in a furniture factory. And then I could probably get this household plastic factory in place as well. After that, I'm going to be kind of maxed out with the budget that I have. So for the factory, I'm going to place this over here somewhere. That terraformed pretty badly, but I think that's okay. And actually, I probably don't have enough money to add in another factory because I'm still running a deficit and that was just under 50K. So hopefully this will start to turn a profit, and it looks like it is. Okay, good. So coming back over here, I want to finish this area off, and I'm going to add an access road that kind of goes around, and then after that, I'm going to place some fencing. All right, excellent. That is looking really good. I'm liking that. And I think people are upset elsewhere in the city because I have cut all these services back, so I'm going to bring these back up, except for maybe the police. All right, so now I want to get some fencing in place. When I looked at fencing for these solar farms, they tend to have like chain link fence with barbed wire, which is kind of ominous, but I'm going to stick with that. At least those are the ones that are kind of local here in North Carolina. So over here, I'm going to place one that follows around this way. And we'll bring it around like that. All right, and now I'm going to get rid of some of the trees that are around the fence. And I'm going to just use like the regular bulldozing tool for this just to be a little bit more selective. On the east and west sides of this, I removed some of the trees here as well, because I want to see how this does with our shadowing. So I think this is like a pretty far northern area. So when you get to about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you really lose a lot of your solar capacity. And then in the morning time, kind of the same thing. So the bulk of the day when the sun's out, we're getting a lot of sunshine through here, which is just what I wanted. Yeah, and I just put a few bushes up here at the front just to kind of, I don't know, even though this area is pretty utilitarian, maybe like a few bushes at the entranceway would be nice. All right, cool. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. I think this looks like a pretty realistic solar farm to me. So what I'm going to do off camera is see if I can fix some of the budget issues, but for now, I think this is looking really, really good. And I also think that's going to do it for today's episode. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please think about doing so. That would really, really help me out. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions what I should do here with the solar farm. Also, if you have any suggestions about my budgetary issues, I would also appreciate that. And also, don't forget to like the video as well. That really, really helps me out. But I'm looking forward to seeing you all back here in Two Rivers County. And hopefully by then we'll be a little bit more fiscally sound. And I've got some bigger plans for the area. Like I want to add in an airport and also want to extend the city over here a little bit more and expand the university. Because really this has taken up only about half the area that I wanted it to take up. But yeah, I hope you all are doing well and we'll see you back here in the next one. All right, bye.